just posting your physique doesn't work anymore. I went from literally working multiple jobs to being able to hit 10K a month online. And this is the 23-step protocol. And I know it works because it helped me get my first client as an online fitness coach. Using this, I've also helped others hit 10K a month online. Now, if you're the type of person who has brain rot, you can't stick and focus and actually watch this entire video uninterrupted, you're not gonna be able to hit 10K a month online. There's gonna be no edits in this video. It's just me talking to the camera, telling you how I went from working jobs to being able to hit 10K a month online. So like I said, if you can't sit down and watch this entire video, I'm sorry, but you're not gonna be successful. So pay attention and focus up. Let's get into the video now. Phase 1, kill the mental prison, right? So the first protocol inside of this is the thing that you don't need permission. You don't need permission from none of these people around you on trying to start this business, trying to do this online, right? Because here's the thing. Back when I was a personal trainer and I was working a bunch of jobs, right? You know, everyone seemed to look at me weird because I was trying to do something that was different from what all these other people were doing, right? In life, I realized that we don't need permission. We give ourselves permission instead because, you know, no one's gonna make the decision for us. So we have to make the decision to, you know, take that risk or do that thing that we feel like we're not ready for. You see what I'm saying? Because, you know, when I started doing online fitness coaching, I was, you know, in college, and it seemed like, you know, it was something wrong to do, trying to do this full time instead of going to the job and then graduating college and then, you know, working for the rest of my life for someone else, trading my time for money instead of actually being able to make my own business, my own thing, build my own thing, something that's way more fulfilling. You know, and at that time I was also training clients in person, going between gyms. I was driving like 40 miles from, you know, different cities, training clients in person as a personal trainer. And, you know, I didn't need permission to start my own business. I didn't need a LLC. I didn't need none of that stuff. So you give yourself permission, right? I gave myself permission to start. I gave my permission to say that I do deserve this life of being able to make money online, even though it might have felt weird in the beginning, right? The second thing is you don't need external validation, because the thing is, you know, when I was starting this online business in the beginning, you know, I was in a way seeking for validation from people because, you know, anything new, people are going to kind of cheer you on when you first start, as long as you're not making progress in the beginning, right? Because they're like, oh, it's this shiny new thing that you're starting. Congrats, right? But as you actually give this and you take this way more seriously, what happens is people around me would be like, oh, hold on, he's actually taking this seriously. Eventually, you know, people might think it's cringy. People might think it's weird. People might think there's something wrong with you, right? And that's only because of other people feeling uncomfortable that they're not taking the action themselves, right? So on purpose, I remember sometimes whenever I would go hang out with people, like, you know, once in a while, you know, I would tell people I'm starting this business and I would get validation from them. Some people would be like, congrats on starting this thing, right? And the thing is, that would trick my mind into thinking that I, like, have achieved the goal. And I would start getting dopamine from that because people would be like, oh, congrats for doing this thing. Wow, congrats for taking this risk, right? And it would actually stop me from doing the work because I just felt like I accomplished so much when in reality I didn't, right? This was even online, like maybe getting a certain type of views, a certain amount of likes. I know plenty of people. I was talking to a friend literally like a week and a half ago. This guy has like over 20K plus followers on Instagram. He gets tons of likes, tons of validation from people, right? Everyone's like, oh, good job. But the thing is, in reality, like, you know, he's not really making any money from it, right? And inside, it just feels different. It feels empty, right? So You don't need validation from these other people. Like, you should actually try to avoid it, because that's just going to feed your dopamine loop. You want to delay gratification, which is what I did, right? And the third thing is, you don't need to wait until you feel like you deserve more, right? You do the thing and you get it. As you get it, you realize that you do deserve it. Because here's the thing. Most people feel icky when being like, oh, I feel like I'm the type of person who deserves hitting 10K a month. I'm the type of person who deserves doing X, Y, Z. And this all just fundamentally roots from your identity. So I had to change up my identity, right? Kind of like, when you got in amazing shape, you started feeling more confident physically in that aspect of your life, right? You didn't really wait until you felt like you deserved a better body. You just fitted yourself into that identity, right? And then you did it, and you became a byproduct of that, right? So it's the same thing with this. Like, you have to just fit into that version of yourself where you deserve that. Okay? I mean, that's the same thing. Like, think about it. Billionaires, right? They literally feel like they deserved it because they've put in so much work and they've provided so much value to people, which is why it's like when they do hit it, they're like, no wonder I hit it. Of course I hit it. Like Jeff Bezos, the amount of value he provided before he hit $1 billion, he provided way more value than billions of dollars, which is why when he did hit $1 billion, he was like, of course. You know what I mean? Like, it's a byproduct because of the value I'm providing. So remember, you don't need to wait around. You just need to implement things. That's what I did personally. Now, the fourth thing is, you don't need to apologize for wanting more. A lot of people around me would kind of look at me weird, almost in a way that I was greedy for wanting to make more money, because there was just this scarcity belief that, if I make more money, oh, I'm bad. Or if I'm focusing on money, it's like, oh, that's like the wrong thing to do, right? So I just had to rewire my beliefs, because I realized that, like, me making more money is a byproduct of me serving humanity and me helping humans, like society, become a better place, right? Because money is just an exchange of value, right? And the more money that I make, the more value that I provided to Earth, to humanity, right? So that's the thing. It's like, it's not a bad thing to want more. And, like, don't apologize for wanting to make more money. It's not greedy. It's you just simply wanting to provide more value and make Earth a better place. You want more resources, right? So you could help more people at the end of the day. It's not like you're doing this with bad intentions. Like, you're literally doing this to make people more healthier. You're doing this so people could live better lives. You're literally going to be impacting families and generations, and you're going to impact bloodlines. Because let's say you make this one person more healthy, right? Like, yes, they gave you money, so now you could pay more attention to them, right? So just by simply making this one person more healthy, like, imagine the people around them that you affected, right? Maybe their family members are starting to be more healthy now. Maybe when they have kids, their kids are more healthy, like their genetics alter, right? So the second order effect that you have, right, is massive. So money is just a byproduct of a lot of value. So honestly, always want more. You should always want more. Don't get stuck up in these scarcity mindset of people around you being like, oh, you shouldn't want more, right? Now, the fifth thing is, you don't need to live small for others to feel comfortable, because honestly, what would happen if you truly gave it your all and you went all in, right? What would happen. People would actually be scared of you for the amount of stuff that you could accomplish, right? And the thing is, everyone around you is thinking small, right? They box you up in this small mindset because they don't have a larger vision for themselves. So you have to, in a way, fit into their box to make them feel comfortable. Well, guess what? I didn't do that. I remember I was surrounded by so much people that were thinking small, that were like, oh, go to college, get a degree, get this job, just do that for the rest of your life, right? But it's like, that's not the life that I wanted, right? I didn't want to work for someone else for the rest of my life. I didn't want to have this other thing. I wanted to build something that I could call my own. I knew my potential was way larger than that. I'm sure you know that your potential is way larger than that. So never box yourself up. I remember I was literally living with friends at that time, and it seemed like my vision itself felt like it was trapped up in a box, and it made it seem like I was the bad person for trying to want way more, trying to do this other path, right? But the thing is, don't fit into other people to make them feel comfortable, because that's just going to kill your dreams and your vision. And you know what would happen if you let loose and let all out, right? Sky's the limit. So there's that. Like, think about it. Literally, the founder of Cane's, he literally cut a flight to a completely different place, and he went all in on his chicken finger dream. This dude's a multi-billionaire now. You know what I mean? And there's so much examples of successful people, hyper successful people, that literally didn't care and they just did it anyway, you know? Now, the sixth thing is you don't need to protect your ego, because when you start something new and you try to build this new thing, you're going to suck, and you're going to suck really, really bad. But that's just normal, because the thing is, to get good at anything, you have to be bad at it, right? Like, when you first started going to the gym, you were bad at it. Now you're in amazing shape, all that stuff, right? When you first learn how to swim, you're going to be bad at it. Like, I remember, you know, when I was doing lifeguard training in the past, like, I sucked at swimming, right? Through the lifeguard training, through these numerous tests that I had to take and all that stuff, and through all the resources, all the stuff that I learned, right? I learned and I got better, and eventually, because I got better, that was my new standard, right? I wasn't the highest version of myself that I can imagine. I was the lowest version of myself that I could accept, and I didn't want to let my ego stop me from actually getting better. Like, I remember I had this guy. I let go of him as a client, by the way. But I had this guy, and he joined my program. I'm not going to tell you his name, but he had a massive ego. Like, he hadn't achieved the result that he wanted and I had, right? And he just wasn't coachable, right? Because I was telling him to do certain stuff and he wasn't doing it. And he was like, oh, I don't, like, in a way, he's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. But it's like, if you don't have the result, you don't know. If you don't have the result, or you haven't helped others achieve it, it's like you don't know what you're doing. But sometimes people just can't let go of their ego, right? Like, this was the same case even with like people around me, right? People have such a massive ego, and it's painful to maybe enter thoughts in your mind that you're not good as you think you are, because that's painful and that requires more work, because you're going to have to dig deeper within yourself, and you're going to have to ask these uncomfortable questions, which actually is going to help you get better. Like, I truly had it. Like, when I wasn't making a lot of money from my business, or where I wasn't where I wanted to be, I had to start asking myself why, and it was extremely painful because I realized I just wasn't good enough. Like, it was the simple truth, right? Until I started asking these questions, and that led me to getting help, reaching out to people who had achieved the thing I wanted to achieve, which led me to become successful, right? It's literally letting go of the ego. It's such a massive one. So there's that. And the next thing, number 7, which is you don't need perfect confidence. Like, when I got my first client as an online fitness coach, I wasn't even ready, right? I was training clients in person. I mean, I was confident that I could help people achieve the result, right? But because I had achieved the result myself. And I remember my first client, like, I wasn't even expecting him to be my client in the beginning, but he asked me, he's like, hey, send me the payment link, right? And he sent me more money through the text than I would have earned within like 2 weeks, right? And it was just shocking. I was not ready for it. But because I took action, I built the confidence along the way. And I realized this is the same case for any areas of life. Like, when I first learned how to swim, right? I like, this was when I was a kid. You know what they did? Like, this was my friend's dad, by the way, in California when I lived out there. Like, my friend's dad, he literally like threw me into the pool And then I learned, and I'm so grateful that he did, because that's the approach that I take with anything in life now, which is just jumping into the pool. Because think about it, like when you don't know how to swim, you look at the pool and you're like, oh, it's so deep. What if I drown? You start overthinking. You start creating imaginary problems in your head, right? But then when you jump into the pool and you start swimming, you realize that was just you overthinking, and it's actually way more simple than you think. This is the same case, right? And, as you start swimming in the pool, you start becoming more confident, right? So that takes me to number 8, which is you don't need motivation, right? Because the thing is, motivation is going to die. Like there's so many times when, I didn't feel like waking up early. I didn't feel like working on my business. I wasn't closing deals. People were responding to me. I was getting so many no's, right? And, there was times when my motivation would fluctuate, because motivation is just emotion. Our emotions are going to go up and down. But something that I learned is that, discipline is what's required, because the thing is, our emotions are going to go up and down like forever, right? But when I was able to detach myself from my emotions, maybe I didn't get the sale, maybe I didn't get the response from this person, maybe the video didn't perform good, because I was disciplined and I stayed consistent, right? Over a long enough time horizon, I was still making progress, right? The only reason I felt like, bad in those certain moments is because I was so zoomed into the day, into the now, into the current result. When I just zoom out and start expanding my time horizon, start thinking way more long term, it's like I'm making progress, in a long enough time horizon. So there's that. So this perfectly leads us into phase 2, which is collapsing the productivity myths, right? And I know a lot of people feel this pain. And, number 9 is you don't need more time, right? A lot of people believe that they need more time to start this business. But the thing is, you're never going to have more time and less responsibilities. So the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time to start is now, right? And you're never going to be younger than you are now, right? So literally, like, people believe that, just because they're working jobs, like maybe you're training clients in the gym, and you feel like you don't have a lot of time to post content, you feel like you don't have time to market, all that stuff, that's just false beliefs. Like if you can't even make money while working a job, then you're not gonna be able to run a business. You don't have the discipline, you don't have the consistency to actually run a business. I was making money online while I was working a job. When I made my first money online, right? So, and I've worked 3 jobs in the past, just to show you proof. Like I was literally working during breaks. I had my laptop there. I was literally just inputting. I was tracking my time in the calendar. I was relentless with all that stuff. And because I did it consistently, I got exponential growth because I had exponential inputs. It's all inputs and outputs at the end of the day. No one's a magic snowflake. It's just inputs equals outputs. It's the simple truth. So that perfectly brings me into you don't need new ideas. A lot of people think that they need to come up with this new invention of something brand new. But even the most craziest inventions, they were sparked by another different idea. Same with painting, all that stuff, right? And the thing is, we just bounce off ideas off of each other. And when you follow, I used to be in this trap where I was like, oh, I have to, try something new. And that was because I just wanted validation from people, because then people would be like, oh, this person created this new thing, right? And creating this new paradigm is so hard. You can do it, but it's better to be able to make money first, and then once you have the resources, then you could start working on stuff you can mix other ideas and blend it into this new thing that you have. So I wouldn't recommend in the beginning coming up with something brand new, because that's actually what's held me back, right, from being able to actually get clients and make money online. That was just me seeking validation. the smartest thing to do and the highest ROI thing to do is actually being able to get clients online, being able to even hit 10K a month online. So then you have money coming in. You could do this full time. You get time and location freedom. That way it gives you actual time and resources to work on whatever this new thing that your desire tells you to do, right? Focus is key. Like, you have to be able to be willing to do the boring stuff, right? A lot of people, when, they find something that works, then they start getting bored because their brain enters this phase of like, oh, this is painful. So they try something new and then they lose all their progress. That was me. I literally built multiple different online coaching businesses and I pivoted a bunch of times. As soon as I started sticking to one thing, I started seeing exponential growth. So that perfectly leads me into 11, which equals you don't need new information. The thing is, there's infinite information. ChatGPT exists. We could be like getting information from ChatGPT for the 50 years of our life, right? And that was me in the beginning. Like, I was watching tens of different YouTube videos. I was joining hundreds of different communities. I was listening to tens and hundreds of gurus online. And the thing is, every person, because I was trying to listen to every person, everyone's advice would cancel out from each other, because all that did was it stopped me from doing the inputs. Like I said, back to first principles. It's all just about action, right? And because I had less inputs, I saw a lack of results, and then I started blaming other things rather than taking accountability for myself. And then now that I look back and I've actually I'm in this other side where I've been able to hit 10K a month. Honestly, a lot of the stuff that people are saying works, but the best one is the strategy that I say, which is what I personally believe, that I share, especially inside of my school community. Feel free to click the link down below to join. And the thing is, most of this stuff that people say works, but it's just you deciding to go all in with one single thing and being relentlessly focused. Because as soon as you start something and you start seeing a little bit of progress and then you jump into new things, you lose all your progress. Because there's this guy, Alex Ramosi, he's made over $100 million in 72 hours. And he mentioned whenever you add something new to the business, that slows you down by 25%. I believe it's 25% or maybe even a little more, right? So there's that thing. You don't need information. You need action and implementation. And the best way to do that is by being inside of a community of like-minded people. So click the link down below to join our community. Then the next thing is number 12, which is you don't need to see the full path. I didn't see the full path. When I cut a flight to Miami, I built this business from scratch. I didn't even know how I was going to, I didn't even have a product in the beginning, right? I didn't have a logo. I didn't have none of that stuff. Webs, I didn't have so much stuff, but I just took on clients. And because when I took on clients, they started telling me what they needed. I started building the path along the way. A lot of people try to build this entire path. I spent 3 months building an entire fitness course. And then once I got my first client, turns out he didn't even need it. And then I realized, I was like, wow, I wasted so much months. Some people even waste years. I've talked to this guy. He's been trying to create this entire path for his future for 3 years. And he's still stuck under $1,000 a month. He's at $1,000 a month or even under, right? Because he's just trying to create this entire path when that's probably going to be useless, because you actually create the path as you go. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. And the number 13 is you don't need to wait, because waiting doesn't achieve anything. You could wait your entire life. There's this quote I heard, which it says, opportunities open for the people that knock on them, which hits so much, because it's if you just wait around, if you're not willing to knock on that door, it's no one's going to come save you. Especially if you're not at the top 1% of your industry, right? People aren't going to come to you, right? You don't have that luxury, especially when you're starting off. You're going to have to do the hard work. And I did too. I'm not just telling you what to do. I literally did this. I was waking up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning for over 400 days straight. I was sending thousands of DMs, not 100,000, but thousands of DMs every single day. I was leaving comments. I was posting tons of videos, tons of comments. Right now, even with my Instagram, like I started to generate inbound leads already with my Instagram. And within the last 15 days, I've posted about 150 reels, right? And I'm figuring out the common pattern of what's working, and it's like working. I'm getting inbound leads now, right? So it's like you don't have the luxury to really wait because time is so limited. Now I've been able to grow my community to almost 400 members. I have tons of people inside of there. I have clients, tons of clients, and I'm helping tons of people. I'm getting people great results. So now my demand is increasing because I've put in the work, and it's only going to increase over time, right? So then over time, guess what's going to happen? Things are just going to get better. So there's no point in waiting around. I don't know. I don't understand why people wait, right? Now this perfectly leads us into phase 3, which is I'm going to talk about business and like the reality, right? So number 14 is you don't need a website. Like I got stuck trying to build a website because the thing is that just wastes time. Like I realized I literally got my first client and I was able to hit 10K a month without even having a website, right? I simply had this community platform, and people would go inside of there, and because some people wanted extra attention from me, help to get the result of being able to achieve and be able to hit 10K a month online, people just naturally ask me, right? And from there I would get clients. So you don't need a website. Like websites are literally dying. Like I'm sure you don't even go to a website. Like you're probably scrolling on social media, and if you like this person, you probably end up buying from them, right? So it's like websites are dying, and it's the honest truth. Don't waste money on that stuff. It's not needed. 15, you don't need expensive software. Like you don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on this extra software tool that is supposed to be all flashy and helps you get clients. Like that's not needed. Clients are generated through being able to solve a specific problem for a specific person that needs it. And you do that by being able to capture the attention of that person, right? So you don't need expensive software. Like the software I use this software platform called School. Like you can kind of check out what it looks like if you just click down below and join my community, so you can kind of see how it works. It's like literally just $99 a month, right? And it's worth it. You know what I mean? It's changed my life. And that's really the only software. And then I also use Calendly, which is to book calls with people. I have automation set up, so like when someone books a call, it sends a reminder before the meeting that we have. And then honestly, as an online fitness coach, something that'll help you is like something that I've used personally is Trainerizer, which I can put like workouts for my clients inside of, right? But honestly, you don't even need that. You could just use the School platform. So you could have everything in this just little box that's like literally $99. Everything, right? So there's that. You don't need none of that stuff. And the next thing is you don't need complicated funnels. People, online, they're like, oh, you need this 4-step funnel, and then you need this email sequence, and then you need this AI thing. Like you don't need none of that. It's just simply having conversations, talking to that person, and then being able to get them and turning them into a client, which I go more over inside of my community. So click the link down below and join, where I show you how to do that more in detail, because that's just like, I won't be able to go over the entire thing in this video, right? So yeah, you don't need this complicated funnel that most people tell you. And you don't need tons of client testimonials. I got my first client as an online fitness coach when I didn't have tons of testimonials, right? You just need to be able to have conversations with these people and show them that you are the authority, right? A lot of people believe they need hundreds of testimonials. I mean, yeah, sure, it'll help, but if you've gotten the result yourself, that works. If you've gotten the transformation yourself, people are going to want that transformation. They don't care about the little micro details like the packages and stuff like that. So there's that. And then you don't need to spend millions of dollars on ads. Like the thing is, more and more people are starting to post content. More and more people are starting this online coaching business every day. And it's going to be more expensive to buy attention. So buying attention is only going to get more and more expensive over time. And we have social media platforms that allows us to literally generate attention for free, right? I'm literally getting inbound leads from content for free, right? So why would you want to pay millions of dollars on ads? Because the thing is, the people that rely on ads right now, they're going to constantly be relying on it more, and they're going to start spending more and more money on it. And then what happens is they start creating more and more crazier offers and more crazier guarantees, which gives their clients a certain type of expectation, so they get bad word of mouth, right? Word of mouth is extremely powerful. Apple, they have such a powerful word of mouth. Everyone loves the iPhone. It's because they don't give this massive expectation to people. Their product is just so good that people just market it, right? And when you're running ads, you're going to start relying on creating this a more crazier and crazier offer, compared to like if you're sending outreach messages, you're just having conversations, people like you, and then they buy into your program because you have the solution that they want, the solution that you provide, or through content, people like who you are. Like I literally had a guy, he got into my program, he didn't even see none of my testimonials, he was a cold lead, and he was just like, dude, I just believe in you, let's just do this, right? Because he knew I could help him solve his problem, and this guy was like $200,000 in debt, right? So that shows you like you can do things. Like it's just the mindset that you put yourself under, right? Like you could invest even when you feel like you don't think you can, type of thing. All right. Now the next thing is, you don't need to feel special, because the thing is, I thought I was that special snowflake where it wouldn't work for me. And now I'm here, and I'm here to tell you it works. Trust me, it works. You're not a special snowflake. If you follow the same steps as this person, it's going to work. Okay? As long as you're willing to do the work, obviously. Okay, now the next thing is, you don't need permission to charge premium. I remember in the beginning, I have a client. He was able to hit 10K a month within 2 months from scratch with his online coaching business. And he charged 5K. So think about it. That's like 2 clients, and he hit 10K a month, right? So you can only imagine if he gets 4 clients, if he just does more of what works, or if he gets 10 clients. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, you don't need to wait. Like I remember in the beginning, it would seem like charging $1,000 or $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 was so like strange to me. It's because it was the lack of my own belief. But the thing is, people paid like $20,000 for like college, which they don't even end up getting a job with, or people pay like $20,000 for doctors who haven't even achieved the outcome that they want, like doctors who are out of shape and stuff like that, when you could just charge $5,000 to help this person way cheaper get the result. You see what I'm saying? So there's that. Like just overcome this belief, honestly. And people around you might think it's like expensive. That's because that's their own limiting belief, by the way. Like I remember when I was in the beginning, I was trying to help some of my friends and sell to them my fitness coaching offer. And they're like, oh, this is expensive, you should charge less. And then I was like, these people aren't qualified. So I started finding people who are qualified. That was it. It was a simple truth. It was just the scope of my network was so small because I didn't know enough people, right? Like what would happen if you talked to like 10,000 people? You would start finding patterns on who would want your stuff for that price, right? You'd find people who would see the value in what you offer. So it's just like increasing your scope of how much people you could reach. That's simply it. Now, phase 4 is the identity shift, which is like, you don't even need your past identity. Like you need to completely let go of this old identity version of you who's making a little bit like this. Like I remember I had this old identity version of me where, I believed I couldn't charge a lot. I believed I wasn't able to hit 10K a month or so forth. And it's like that identity didn't serve me. So I just wrote it down on a piece of paper, and you could just like throw it into a garbage can and then just rewrite this new identity straight up. That's really how it is. It's the truth, right? Just throw your old identity away. If it's not serving you, then you might as well get rid of it if it doesn't serve your goal. It's the simple truth. 22. You don't need to stay loyal to who you used to be, because if who you used to be doesn't serve you, then it's no longer needed. It's just recreating yourself. I'm always recreating myself every single day. and it's allowed me to grow progress and even be able to hit 10K a month online. And I'm constantly doing this even right now. 23, you don't need to save everyone with you. I had this belief that I had to save all these people, but some people just aren't willing to grow, so that's just going to hold you back. It's like chains holding you down. So that's why I saw so much progress when I literally moved to a different state, when I didn't have to deal with that type of stuff. And that's why I saw the most progress. Now, obviously, you don't have to do that. You don't have to move to a different state. You could be surrounded by yourself and just know that you don't have to save all these other people who aren't willing to save themselves. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and click the link down below if you want to be able to do online fitness coaching full-time.